Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Ben.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Van Chan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chap. 17 Sec of Jane Eyre, an Autobiography.
As.
Jane Eyre, an Autobiography. Brontë. Chap. 17 Sec 2. The vehicles. Two of the cavaliers were young, dashing-looking gentlemen. Was Mr. Rochester on his black horse. Monsieur. Then, at his side rode a lady, first of the party. Her purple riding habit almost swept the ground, streamed along on the breeze, mingling with its transparent folds. Then, shone rich raven ringlets. Missing Gurm exclaimed Miss Fairfax, she hurried to her post below. The cavalcade, following the sweep of the drive, quickly turned the angle of the house, and I lost sight of it. Alina petitioned to go down, but I took her on my knee, venturing in. Sight of the ladies, either now or at any other time, unless expressly sent for, that Mr. Rochester would be very angry. And see, some natural tears she shed on being told this to look. Very grave, she consented at last to wipe them, was now audible in the hall, harmoniously together and distinguishable above all, though not loud voice of the master of Thornfield Hall at its roof. Then light steps ascended the stairs through the gallery, and soft cheerful laughs, and opening and closing doors, and for a time a harsh "All's changing to Tullidis," said Aloud, listening attentively, had followed every movement, and she sighed. Then she Quando wyavate du mon gila suvis part out o. Salon Etler's chambers, a habulurless dames that gertate see. Amusant, don't you feel hungry, my sweet mademoiselle? One hour, while the ladies are in their rooms, and a shriek from my asylum with precaution, directly to the kitchen, all in that region. Was fire and commotion, soup and fish were in the last stage of projection. Over her crucibles, in a frame of mind and body threatening spontaneous combustion. The servants, hall coachman, and three gentlemen stood or sat round the fire. The gales, I suppose, were upstairs with their mistresses. Servants that had been hired from Oakcote were bustling about everywhere. This chaos, I at last reached the larder, a cold chicken, a roll of bread, some tarts too, and a knife and fork. With this booty I made hasty retreat. I had regained the gallery, and was just shutting the back door behind me, their chambers doors, and running the risk of being surprised with my cargo of victualage, so I stood still at this end, which being windowless was darked, quite dark now, for the sun was set and twilight gathering. Chambers gave up their fair tenants one after another. Early was dressed that gleamed lustrous through the dusk, stood grouped together at the other extremity of the gallery of sweet subdued vivacity. Bright mist rose down a hill, impression of high-born elegance such as I had never before received. Peeping through the schoolroom door, which yielded ajar, here in English, "Oh, I wish I might go to them." You think Mr. Rochester will send for us by and by? No. Indeed, I don't. Mr. Rochester has something else to think about. The ladies tonight, perhaps she will see them tomorrow. She was really hungry, so the chicken and tarts served to divert her attention for a time. It was while I secured this forage, or both she or Sophie, to whom I conveyed a share of our repast, a chance of getting no dinner at all engaged her. Think of us. The dessert was not carried out till after 9. Annette and footmen were still running to and fro with trays and coffee cups. I allowed Ethel to sit much later than usual. She could not possibly go to sleep while the doors kept opening and shutting below, and people bustling about. Besides, she did come from Mr. Rochester. When she was undressed, she would listen to them her out into the gallery. The hall lamp was now lit, amused her to look over the balustrade and watch the servants passing backwards and forwards. When the evening was far advanced, the drawing room whither the piano had been removed, the top step of the stairs to listen, rich tones of the instrument. It was a lady who sang. Sweet her notes were a slow over adieu followed a late joyous conversational murmur filled up the intervals. I listened long. Suddenly I discovered that Moira was wholly intent on analysing the mingled sounds and trying to discriminate amidst the confusion of accents those of Mr. Rochester, and when it caught them which is indeed for their task in framing the tones, rendered by distance inarticulate into words. Clock struck 11. I looked at Aloud, whose head leant against my shoulder. Her eyes were waxing heavy and carried her off to bed. Ladies sought their chambers. The next day was as fine as its predecessor was devoted by the party to an excursion to some site in the neighbourhood. They set out early. In the forenoon, some horseback carriages, I witnessed both the departure and the return. Missing groom before was the only lady equestrian, and as before, Mr. Rochester. Kept at her side, the two rode a little apart from the rest. I pointed out this circumstance to Miss Fairfax, the window with I married, said I, but you see, Mr. Yes. I just say she him, I added, she were conversing confidentially. I wish I could see her face. See her this evening, answered Miss Fairfax. I happened to remark to Mr. Rochester how much I'd wished to be introduced to the ladies, said, oh, let her come into the drawing room after dinner. Yes, he said that from Eyre. Politeness, I need not go, I answered. Well, I observed to him that, as you were unused to company, I did not think you would like appearing before so gay a party of strangers, and he replied, in his quick way and innocence, if she objects, her it is my particular wish, and if she resists, given that trouble, I answered, I will go, be, but I don't like it. Shall you be there, my Snow? I pleaded off, and he admitted my plea. How to manage so as to avoid the embarrassment of making a formal entrance, which is the most disagreeable part of the business. Drawing room while it is empty before the ladies leave the dinner table. See in any quiet nookie like gentlemen come in. Unless you please, just let Mr. remain long, perhaps 2 or 3 weeks, certainly not more. Easter recess, Sir George, then who was lately elected member for Mulcote, will have to go up to town and take his seat. I dare say Mr. Rochester will accompany him, our approach when I was to repair with charge to the drawing room had been in a state of ecstasy all day. Be presented to the ladies in the evening, commenced the operation of dressing her that she sobered down. The princess quickly steadied her in smooth dripping custers, her pink satin frock put on, sash tied, and her lace means adjusted. Judge no need to warn her not to disarrange her attire. Was dressed, she sat demurely down in her little chair to lift up the satin skirt for fear she should crease at me. She would not stare. Then still I was ready. This I quickly was. My best dress, the silver grey one, purchased for Miss Dimple's wedding, never worn since, was soon put on. My hair was soon smoothed, so ornament, the pearl brooch, soon assumed. We descended. We found the apartment vacant, the marble hearth end. Wax candles shining in bright solitude, flowers with which tables were adorned. The crimson curtain hung before the arch. Saloon, be distinguished beyond a soothing. Eyre, under the influence of a most solemn missing impression, sat down. Without a word, the vigil I pointed out to her. I retired to a window seat, taking a book from a table near, endeavoured. Tyriot, stole to my feet a long sheeted miny. What is it? ESD squidgy nepius pas prender and sulta. Says magnificus, mademoiselle. You think too much of your own toilette, Ato. For, and I took a rose from a vase and fastened it in her. She sighed a sigh of ineffable satisfaction. We're now full. What? Suppressed, earnest, and innate devotion to matters of dress. Audible, the curtain was swept back from the arch dining room, a magnificent dessert service covering a long table. Opening, they entered, and the curtain fell behind them. There were but 8, yet somehow, as they flocked in a much larger number, some of them were very tall. In white, their persons as a mist magnifies them in. I rose and curtsied to them. 1 or 2 bent their heads in return. To be continued.